Hey everybody, it's your girl Jasmine, and I'm back again with another review for Power Book 4. This is 4 starring none other than the infamous Tommy Egan. You guys already know from the past review that is Bay. And shout out to me being in a better lighting situation. For those of you who may have been wondering, when I filmed my last review, I was at school, and I go to school in a spa because I'm working to become an esthetician. So the rooms are really dark and like chill. So I did my recording from there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it my business to get this review out on a Sunday so I can be at home and the situation will be much better. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys. So this is season 1, episode 2. This is going to be the King of the Goddamn Hill, which we all know that Tommy is king. And tonight's episode was really good. So without further ado, let's get ourselves into it. So the scene opens up and we see Tommy sitting outside of the bay. He's smoking a cigarette. He's looking like he's thinking about, what's going on. And as we know in the previous scene, he was talking about becoming, the king of the goddamn city. He said he wanted to be his own boss. He wasn't going to LA anymore to go and meet up with the Connect. He wanted to find a Connect and find his way here in Chicago. So we see him as he's thinking and reflecting. He's looking at his phone and he's looking at old photos of him and Keisha, as well as photos of him, Keisha, and their Keisha's son. And he's you know what I'm saying, in a place right now where he's feeling like he messed up a lot of things and he needs to right his wrongs going forward, and he's not trying to be in that type of place anymore. And he found out he has a brother now. He found his grandmother was still alive. She's not dead like he thought all this time. And Tommy's a family man at the end of the day. Like, he's very cutthroat, he's very reckless and wild, but he loves, and when he loves hard. So for him, this is like a moment where he's just really thinking about how can he right his wrongs in this new place and create a new life for himself where he can have all of the things that he wants and then some. So as he's sitting on the hood of the car, the scene switches suddenly and we see someone pull out a gun and they start blasting in the bar and they shoot out all the windows, and they're hitting some of the product and everything. And this is all taking place around the same time where Tommy is sitting on his car and he's reflecting. And then we go back and we see Tommy looking at more photos, and he gets a phone call from JP, and JP is his brother who's telling him, shit is wild, get down here to the bar where I'm at right now. So then Tommy pulls up and he's like, damn, what's going on here? People shooting at you like that? Is this place a front? Like, what I'm saying? Is somebody trying to, get at you because you owe them something? And he's like, this is the third time this year that this has happened. It's gonna cost me an arm and a leg to get myself back in the game. And so Tommy is like, well, I'm gonna give you this 10K to get yourself on, get your footing up. And him and his brother at this point, what I'm saying, they're establishing a rapport, and Tommy knows what he's doing. He understands that if I'm going to be in this city, I'm going to need an ally. So the best thing that I can do is start to make sure that I'm creating the bridges that I need to create so that things can go the way that I need it to go. His brother lets him know that, that is his spot. Him and his father have been running that spot for a while. And, we never figure out who's sending a message or anything at this point. But we do know that clearly someone is trying to get a message out to JP. As JP is also having a conversation with Tommy, we also find out that he was married and that his ex is a man, so his brother is gay. And he asks Tommy, he's like, that's not no issue for you, right? And Tommy's like, an ex is an ex. But at the same time, I think Tommy was thinking to himself, like, damn, I just found out I got a brother and I'm finding out that I got a gay brother out there. Like, what else could I possibly be finding out? We then see Tommy leave. He hops in his car and he's driving through Chicago. And as he's driving, he pulls up on side of a building that has a lease sign on the door. He doesn't take the number down on the lease sign or anything, but he's definitely looking at this spot like, either he wants to, make it a stash house, or he wants to, invest in it and use it as his front or something. But we know that he's obviously looking at this place because we see that happen. The scene changes again, and this time we are at the Flynn's residence, and we see Mr. Flynn going towards his medicine cabinet as he's grabbing some pills. And at that same time, he's listening to a voice message that came over from a doctor, and it was an oncologist, and they were calling to let him know they wanted to discuss his test results. And so, an oncologist is a cancer doctor. So I'm like, okay, he must have cancer or something. But clearly he's avoiding the people. He doesn't want to have that conversation. And any man who's up in age, when they get to a certain point in their life and they find out that something detrimental could be happening, they get kind of humbuggish and hard-headed. And it's like, I don't want to have this conversation with the doctors to find out something that could be life altering. And when he goes to take the medication, he takes it with some whiskey, and it's like he starts to kind of pass out in a sense. And Vic enters into the room at that moment. He's like, Dad, is everything okay? Like, we need to get you some help. You're not taking your health seriously. And Mr. Flynn is pretty much like, at this point, I understand my days are numbered here, and I'm really not too concerned about it. What I need to ensure is that when I pass away and I pass this business on to you, my legacy, that you'll be able to continue it. And Vic is just like, I'm going to do what I have to do, Dad, to, hold it down. And Flynn basically lets him know, yeah, you will want to. Because if you can't hold down this business the way that I have instructed you to hold down this business, things can go left real quick for you, and you can find yourself on the other side, meeting me. And I don't think you want none of that. So, Victor kind of sat there and he thought about it for a moment, and then he let it go. So at the end of that scene, we now are seeing Prison Bae. He is boxing, looking good, looking scrumdiddlyumptious, and I'm just like, what's up? As you can see, I got better lighting now. So again, if you want to come down south, you know where I'm at. You know where you can find me. As he's getting his box on, him and Jannard are wrapping it up about, what's going on in the streets. And Jannard lets him know, we got these young dudes out here. They trying to get put on. I think you should go out here and meet them. And Prison Bae just got out of jail. So for him, he's like, what I don't want to have happen is we start running around here real recklessly. And I understand that this may have been the way that you were running things in the past, but I'm not trying to get knocked again. So it's time we come together, we reevaluate the situation, because I don't want no hard heads around me. And that kind of pisses Jannard off, because Jannard, like, I've been running these streets without you, big bro. Like, you're going to have to trust me on some things. I'm not here to start taking orders from you. I'm the man around here right now. So the scene flips again, and we see Tommy walking through an alley. And as Tommy's walking through an alley, a chick gun butts him in the head and asks him, who told you I was going to be here? So they get the tussling and everything. And Tommy look at her, and he like, man, I recognize you. I see that scar on your face. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You Liliana. So Liliana is the girl who in Power Book 1 was making a drop with, I think it was like Ruiz or someone, but whoever she was making a drop with, when they were in the elevator scene, Pink Sneaker Girl, who was the girl who was sent by Kanan, came to jack them out of their loot, and she ended up slicing her in the face in the process. So Tommy wanted to knock Liliana off, because he felt like because she got cut, that put her in such a compromising situation, she was going to run to the cops and tell the cops what she was doing, who she was working for, and that was going to get them caught up in a whole lot of nonsense. But Ghost, he never wanted to kill no woman, especially, like, he let a lot of women go. That wasn't his thing. Like, he didn't have no issue pulling the trigger on a man, but when it came to a woman, he had a soft spot, so he let her go. So Tommy, like, Ghost always letting, people off, what's going on with that? So, she and as they are tussling, the cops pull up, and after the cops pull up, they basically say, we're not trying to get into no shit. And she lets him know as she's leaving, that she had to drop on him before, and she could have to drop on him again. And that makes Tommy feel some type of way, because he like, man, you about to mess up everything that I'm trying to establish here. So, he make a mental note of it, and he keep rolling. After that scene, we end up seeing Bartender Bae, aka Gloria, in the shower. She getting all fresh and so clean, and she's a beautiful woman. I said that in the first episode, and I'm saying it again. She has such unique features. Low key looks like a Maya, but a little darker complected, but it's just like her facial features. She's gorgeous. As she's getting out the shower, she finds none other than Vic himself sitting in the kitchen. He like, what's up? So they embrace each other. They get to kissing and stuff, and he's basically letting her know once again that he wants to have a relationship with her, and he wants things to be where they can be together. And she lets him know, like, that can't be, because you already know how your father feel about the fact that I'm a black woman. You have to like carry his legacy on, and he is not going to be here for it if me and you get together and we have these biracial babies running around here, and then they have to take on the legacy. You are not the man who I'm like, I love you, and that's what makes this so hard, because I understand that you are loyal, I understand that you are devoted, but at the same time, you can't stand up for me. So what would make you think that that's enough for me to want to put my life on the line and put my life at risk for a relationship with you? It can't happen. So he asked her, he's like, is there someone else? And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, of course, Tommy is the one that's sliding up in that catch. But she was like, no, it ain't nobody else. It's just principal at this point. So as he's getting ready to leave, she tells him, what, I need my key back. And he was like, you ain't get no damn key back. But if you really adamant about getting your key back, change the locks. And that's how I'm going to know that you're serious about the situation. Because you know how men do. Like, we could be like, we done. They never think we done. So you have to do something drastic to shake it up for them to know you done. Otherwise, they feel like you playing the whole entire time. And that's basically what he was letting her know. You playing. So the scene switches back again, and this time we see Prison Bae. He's still boxing in the barbershop, and it's him, it's Jannard, and it's another worker that they have who I believe his name is Elijah. They're all in there, and Tommy comes and enters into the building. So Jannard looking like, how the fuck you know where we at? Prison Bae looking like, oh, this the white dude that you told me about. And Tommy like, man, I don't want no smoke. So Elijah and them walk up on him. They pat him down. He tell them what a gun at. They take the gun. And he holds the bag out to let them know, here, I had this for you. So he throws the bag at Prison Bae. Prison Bae opens the bag and he finds the money as well as the product that Tommy had took from before. So dude like, man, what you doing returning the product and stuff? So Tommy was like, I didn't want your product to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just here to give it back to the rightful owner. Like, I'm not about jacking shit from people. That's not what my MO is. So Jannard, because he young and he a high head, he like, man, I would have at least kept the money. And Tommy like, man, that little bit of money ain't nothing to me, and that product don't mean shit to me, because this cup with baby aspirin, and I'm really not trying to fool with that. AKA letting them know, like, y'all doing some foolishness out here in these streets. You think I want to be a part of that? I don't. So Prison Bae like, well, what do you want? Like, who are you? And he was like, look, I'm just here. He was like, I'm just here trying to set my foot in the ground. I ain't trying to make no enemies or anything like that. So here go y'all products, sis. I'm about to head up out of here. So as he's getting ready to go, Elijah walk up on him and he like, man, nah, you ain't about to get up out of here like that. Basically like, I want that smoke. You gonna have to come up off of something. You not about to just walk up in here, return product and leave like it's nothing. So Prison Bae like, man, fall back. And at that moment, the two little young dudes that was outside that Jannard was trying to get Prison Bae to see, they come up inside too, and they like, nah, you owe us. Like, we gonna get something about this nigga. He not about to just walk up out of here. So Prison Bae looking at Jannard like, man, tell your dudes food, fall back. So, the young dudes, they looking like, man, you ain't the big dude on the block. Jannard the person calling shots around here. So what you want us to do? And Prison Bae looking at Jannard like, oh, you running the shots now, my G? And Jannard looking like, fuck, like, this not the type of smoke that I need right now. Like, on one side of the token, he's trying to impress his brother, and he has been running the block. But on the other side of the token, like, he still respects his brother, and he don't want there to be no divide. And the whole time, Tommy peeping game, and he looking at them like, there's a divide right here. There's some type of dissension. These two dudes not aligned like they say they are. So Jannard ends up giving the young dudes the okay, like, man, cut that shit out, and Tommy ends up leaving. So at this point, Prison Bae feeling real defeated, because it's like, what I'm saying? So you the big dude on the block, you calling the shots. Well, since you calling all the shots, you really don't need me right now, right? So he hand off his supplies and stuff like that. I'm going to catch you out later. And he walks up on Tommy. He like, man, let's dip up out of here. So him and Tommy starts walking through the neighborhood. And as they walking, Prison Bae letting him know, I know you had returned Flynn products and money to them too. So what you out here doing trying to make friends with people? And Tommy like, look, I'm new to the area. I'm trying to, figure some shit out for myself. But what I'm not trying to do is have no tension and heat on me right now. That's just not where I'm at. And as they're talking, a car pulls up on them and they got their guns drawn, and they basically Prison Bae and Tommy up on the wall, put some mask over their head and put them in the back of the car and tell them to be quiet. And as they're doing that, he's letting him know, the guy kidnapper is letting him know, like, you messed over Jefe, so now Rojas got some issues with you, so you gonna have to answer. And then the scene switches over again, and we see them in an abandoned warehouse, and Tommy and Prison Bae are, handcuffed to some chairs, and as they talking about off in prison bay and off in Tommy, because Tommy seen them, and Tommy like, you the one who took our mask off our head, so you wanted to be seen. If you didn't want to be seen and you wanted to be incognito, why would you take our mask off, dodo bird? So now the kidnappers, you can tell they real timid, like this they first time kidnapping somebody, because they making a lot of rookie errors, but they like, shut up, and then one of the kidnappers hits prison bay in the head with a gun, and he's like, this is for Hefe, you put him in a wheelchair, all this foolishness. And then he walks over to Tommy and he's talking about doing Tommy in, and Tommy like headbutts him in the head, and I'm like, this is some foolishness. I see where they're trying to give us a little bit of comedic relief in the episode, but a lot of the stuff that takes place, you could tell it's a TV show. Let me just say that, Prison Bay, aka Diamond, is trying to get Tommy out of this. So he's basically like, you got beef with me, you don't have no beef with Tommy, so y'all can let Tommy go. And then they tell Prison Bay, nah, you're gonna have to sell this product for us. It's some H. So Diamond like, I don't fool with that H. Like, I don't sell that H. And it's like, you gonna sell that H today, because if you don't get it done in these next 3 hours, you gonna die. So they like, we gonna keep Tommy over here as collateral. So he was like, nah, I don't make no moves by myself. So if you're gonna send me on this mission, you're gonna have to send Tommy on this mission too, because that's my right hand man. So they tell him, well, you got 3 hours to pay up. And Tommy and Diamond leave, and as they leaving, they starting to question how they gonna go about getting this shit sold within 3 hours, because the tight window that you have them in, that you are asking them to deliver on a product. So then we switch and we see Claudia in the office, and she counting up the money, looking like, the heiress that she is to the throne. I like Claudia. I would love to see her boss up in her role, and I feel like that's where we going this season, and I'm here for all of it, because she just has the makings of being, just one of the top chicks in the game. So she talking to Vic, and she letting Vic know, like, I know you got the highs for Gloria, but it'll never be between y'all two. So, because Daddy ain't gonna never approve of it. So you might want to think about letting Shawty go, because you holding her back. She also lets him know too that she wants to expand on the territory, that she found a new product, and that she thinks that they should introduce it to Dad, because she knows that if she tells Dad about it, Dad is not going to hear it from her. He only wants to hear it from Vic, because Vic is the person who he is putting in charge. So Vic is like, man, Daddy's not going to try to fool with that. And Claudia is thinking to herself, like, well, that's cool. If you don't want to tell Daddy about it, I'm going to tell Daddy about it, because you scary with your scary ass, which is true. So we switch back to the Diamond and Tommy, and they in the car coming up with a plan on how they're going to go about dropping off their work. And Tommy asked him, like, well, what's up with you and Rojas? Like, what's up with this beef? And he lets him know, Rojas was trying to step in on territory where the CBI boys have locations. And while he was locked up and he had got off, he wasn't on the streets no more, so he wasn't the head honcho. So they tried to come in and scoop in on territory. Well, they had put Jannard in a bond, and that's his little brother, so he said he had to put it out there. So he put a hit in on Hefe, and he was like, I wasn't trying to kill the nigga or anything, which is why Hefe is in a wheelchair. He was like, but I did have to send a message that although my brother is still out here in these streets and I'm behind these bars, I'm still going to back him 110%. So now there's this ongoing feud and this war between him and Rojas, because Rojas feels some type of way. So it's kind of like man for man at this point. And you got to pay your dues back to us for what you did by putting my boy in the wheelchair. We then see one of the kidnappers on the phone with Rojas, and he's like, they better go and get my money, and we got to figure out a way to make sure that this shit gets done in 3 hours and that we not playing. And the kidnapper's like, bet, because at this point I see his little brother walking right now. So the kidnapper had eyes on Jannard, so he was like, I'm gonna use Jannard to put the heat on them and make sure that they go and get that money. So then we see Prison Bay on the phone with his hitter Elijah, and he's like, make sure, y'all do straight out there while we go and we handle this drop. And where is Jannard? And he's like, I can't even get in touch with Jannard. So we know now that the kidnappers have gotten to Jannard, and they don't even know that. We see them pull up to a location, and it's like this car mechanic shop, and they're going to go make the drop, and the heat is on. Like, cops are out in Chicago like crazy because the crime rate has been increasing, so they really trying to cut down on things. So they're talking about their plan, and Tommy lets him know, like, I'm about to go run up in here, circle the block. He was like, and if you circle the block one time and I'm not outside, you know, Prison Babe was like, shit, I'm bouncing. And he was like, nah, nigga, don't leave. Like, circle the block again. And he was like, I'm just playing. Like, chill. You know I'm gonna circle the block again. Like, I'm not gonna leave you. So Tommy gets out the car, and as he gets out the car, he's surveying the area. He's looking around to make sure nobody see him. And then he drops the product underneath the dumpster, and he goes inside. And when he walks inside, you know, there's this woman mechanic in there, and obviously she's the connect for the product that they trying to move there. And she's like, you here on behalf of Rojas, what's going on with this? Because I ain't never seen you before. And he like, look, I just came here to deliver the product and to pick up this money. Like, I don't know anything about anything else. So she like, well, what a product again? He was like, I left it outside. It's under the second dumpster, but I need you to know, like, if I don't leave back up out of here, it ain't gonna be good. So she like, well, how I know you not setting me up? And he was like, I told you what a product is. So she sent her two goons out to go get the product. And they go outside, and you see them looking around, like, trying to see if anybody is around before they go get the product. And I'm thinking to myself, we're looking at a visual of Diamond watching them come out and them looking around. I don't know if in real life you're going to go pick up some product, especially something like that. If you look across the street and you see somebody watching them, you would still go and get the product. It was just really strange because I'm like, did they not see this car with this black man sitting in it or something? But either way it go, they go and they retrieve the product. They come in, they test the product, they say it's good. She gives him the money. Tommy bounces, he gets in the car, and he leaves. So as they're leaving, Prison Bay is letting Tommy know, you know, how different it is in Chicago now, like since he's been home, and the fact that he used to be, you know, the top gun, and how his brother is in charge now, and he's trying to teach his brother how to run things, but his brother is a high head, and he want to take matters into his own hand. And then that's when he gets a phone call from Jannard, and he answers it. It's a FaceTime, and he answers the FaceTime, and he sees Jannard getting like all bloody with the kidnappers, and they like, we got your brother, don't forget time clicking, like, make sure you get that loot to us. So he like, oh shit, I really gotta get on it now because I gotta go and save my little brother. So they go to their next spot. Tommy goes inside, and as he's inside trying to drop off the product, you got one of the men, he's in there testing the product. He trying to put it through a little shaker, making sure that it's chemically balanced. Tommy like, man, the clock is ticking, and the man like, hold up, because I'm really trying to test this product out here. And as he's in the back waiting for this man to finish testing the product, you got Prison Bay sitting out front of the store, and he like, man, it's taking too long, what's going on? So he's starting to get nervous. He's starting to think something is happening, but also he understands that the clock is ticking. So he go inside, and it's a butcher shop, and he inside, and the guy's like, you here to buy something? So he like, yeah, let me get some of that pastrami, like, give me a couple of pounds. So he looking, and he's seeing that things are still good. Tommy ain't in no danger, but at the same time, he trying to understand what's going on. So the dude keeps slicing the pastrami real hard, like, keep your eyes over here, focus. Like, you said you here to buy some meat, right? So he bag it up for him, and he's like, is that all you need? And then that's when that's when Prison Bay lets him know, let me get some of them cinnamon rolls too. And so he starts to bag that up, and then that's when Tommy comes out, he grabs the bag, and then they leave. So now they done went to their second drop. So we go back to the Flynn's, and as we're at the Flynn's, we see the father come in, and he's asking Claudia, you know, how's the money looking? And Claudia like, everything is good. So Claudia also lets him know too that the product that we have that we're serving, that, you know, it's outdated. It's time for us to get with the times. They got some new things out here that the streets really will want. And so the dad is like, see, that's the problem with you young people. Y'all always trying to stay with the trends, but you understand trends come and go. But as far as this product right here that we have right now is concerned, it's been around. I'm not trying to hear about any of those innovations. Matter of fact, you in charge of the books. Keep your head in here with these books. And Vic is the one out here in the streets. And at that point, Claudia kind of looking at Vic like, say something. Like, you know that we can have more money coming in. We can have more revenue. Take up for me. Grow some balls. And Vic just sitting there. And he let the little argument go on. So Claudia ends up, you know, walking out. And we see that Vic isn't standing up for Claudia. So this is another person who, another time that we get to see where Vic is not standing up for the women who are important in his life. You got you have Claudia always coming to the bat for Vic, telling Vic, what's going on, putting Vic up on game, helping Vic out, even though she really wants to be the person in the front chair. And then you have his girlfriend, Gloria, who he has yet to tell his father that he's dating, he loves her, put his foot down and say, this is what the relationship is going to be. So we see Vic, he's not gonna take up for no woman. That's just, it is what it is. So Tommy then goes and he's making his final drop and he walks into this junky house and it's like this Asian man and he drops the product off and he looking around like, man, this a junkie like house. Like they got all these junkies laid out around here. What type of drop is this? So as he's making the drop, the dude goes and tests the product, but like he really hits the product. He don't like just do the little taste and roll. He hits the product. So Tommy like, man, you really hitting this right now? And then the dude nods off. So Tommy like, shit, and you nodding off? Now I gotta find the money. So he starts to go in the pocket to get the money because the dude done nodded off on him. And we see that Prison Bay is outside waiting. And as Prison Bay is outside waiting, a cop rolls up on him. So Prison Bay got his hands on the steering wheel, all of the rules that we have to unfortunately teach our young black men as it comes to being pulled over. Actually, black men and black women, just our babies in general, as it comes to the procedures that we have to take when we are getting pulled over by the police, because we do know that any sudden move that we make, they will use and justify it as a reason to kill us dead in the streets. So his hands are on the steering wheel, and the cop is asking him, why is he in the neighborhood, and then ask him, is this your car because these are out-of-state tags, and he tells him to then go and get his license and registration. So Prison Bay is letting him know that I'm not moving my hands because I do not want you to think that I am reaching for anything. He was like, so my hands are staying on the steering wheel. So he's like, you need to go and get your license and registration. He was like, oh, and then as Prison Bay is telling him I'm not, he goes to draw his gun and he's basically like trying to be very loud and say that I am feeling threatened by your behavior right now, so I'm about to pull the trigger. And just when he is about to get ready to shoot, and Prison Bay is steady saying I am not aggressively, like I am not moving my hands off this steering wheel, you are not in any threat, Tommy walks up and was like, we have a problem here, officer. So that's when the officer says, oh, hi. A white man, what are you doing over here in this neighborhood? So Tommy's like, this is my car. So he was like, oh, this is your car? I didn't know this was your car. And he puts his gun back and he's like, I am just doing a regular routine check here. Can I see your license and registration? So Tommy like, yeah, like no problem. You can see my license and registration. And he goes to get it out and they talking about the weather. And he's like, yeah, because I'm here in Chicago and I heard y'all had some of the best hot dogs. He was like, but that's a lie. And then he also tells him, it was sunny outside and then it's snowing now. And the cop is, we could have a barbecue in one moment and then we can go sledding in the next. And I'm like, seriously? So Prison Bay is all nervous. So he's like, man, tell me ain't nothing on your records because I'm not trying to get locked again. And Tommy tells him, like, no, my records are clean. He was like, I promise you they clean. So the cop comes back and he's like, y'all have a good day. And the whole time Prison Bay thinking like, shit, it must be nice to be a white man and to be able to walk up on a cop while he got his gun drawn and he's about to blow my brains out and be Captain Save-A-Ho because of the color of your skin. And that scene itself was very fucking triggering. But I appreciate them for putting it in. But at the same time, it's just unfortunate that in today's times we still have to witness and endure those types of police brutality. And just to see it played out, even though it was a scene, it's really real and it's real prevalent to what we face on a day-to-day basis. So I appreciate Power for putting it out there, but at the same time, yeah, that shit had me triggered because I'm like, not this white man walks up and all of a sudden, hi, how you doing? Yeah, so they leave and they pull up to where Jannard is located, and as they walking in, they got all the snipers up top. They got the guns ready to blow their brains out. They trade the money for Jannard. They take Jannard and they bounce up out of there. And then as they are walking out, Jannard and Prison Bay have, I guess Elijah came to scoop them up, and when Elijah got there, he threw out a quarter brick, which is $25K. They gave it to Tommy, and he was basically like, let Tommy know, like, nigga, who are you really? And Tommy was like, what you talking about? Like, I'm I told you who I am. And he was like, yeah, but I paid attention to you. And I noticed that when we were going around and we was making these drops, you were surveying the area. Like you really knew your way, around how to go and drop these off. But you was also looking, you was paying attention. Like I'm clocking you, I see you. You trying to see where our connects are. You trying to put the dots together. You trying to like really scope out the scene on where you can get product, where you can find a connect. He was like, I see you, nigga. Like you better watch your back and watch yourself out here in these streets. Cause if you trying to come and take over my territory, it's not gonna happen without a fight. But I'm gonna let you slide this time because you came in and you looked out for my brother and stuff. But I see you. We see each other. And so Tommy, Tommy, he takes his money and he goes. And so we see him and he enters into his grandmother's house and his brother JP is there and they connecting on what the house was like when they were kids, from the plastic sofa, which anybody who had an old one of my best friends' mama still to this day got plastic on her sofas. Y'all, let me tell you, I'll never go over there. But, and that's neither here nor there. But if you know anything about that plastic in the summertime and you be sticking to it, child, them legs be sweating. Like, it's foolish. As they finish going over their childhood memories, JP shows him a video of their mom with Tommy and them at the park, and basically is like, that's crazy because your mom, she really loved one of her children without looking back. Tommy also gave the $25K to his brother, and his brother didn't want to take it, but he set it down on the table because he's like, by any means, if I can help you out, I'm gonna try to help you out because I know what it's like. So JP starts to tell him though, I had a child once and my son, he's 16 now, and he tells the story about how him and his old lady or wife at the time, when they separated because he went to jail, when he got home, he felt like he was looking for this little boy all his life. And as he's telling this story about the relationship he had with his son, we see a young boy who is walking and he's holding something tight to him. He walks in the alley and he moves the lead so that he can bury a gun. And this gun has like one of the silencers on it, and it looked like the gun that we saw in the beginning of the episode that shot up his shop. So I'm curious to know if his son is the one who keeps shooting up the shop because he feels like his father abandoned him. That hasn't been stated, but it's funny to me that he opened up like a little safe, and in the safe there was a photo of him and his father and the little boy, and it was JP in the photo, so it is definitely his son. And you see the gun and everything, so I'm like trying to make the connection. I said he must have been the one who shot the shot. So I think he keeps trying to send a message to his dad because in his mind, his daddy, he probably feels like his father abandoned him, and you have this business, but you not out here looking for me, where that's the reality that he has in his mind. My father has abandoned me. But on the flip side, JP is like, I've been looking for my child and my child has vanished. I don't even know what my child is. So I feel like at some point they're going to come together for an Oprah aha moment, and they're going to realize, that the two of them have been living in this world that isn't the actual reality, but in this young man's mind, I think he's a part of that street life. He sees this as my father done left me and he think he gonna do good, so forget that. I'm gonna tear up your opportunity every chance that I get. And, he lets him know that I'm really in the process right now trying to keep the people that I have close to me close, because I've never had a brother before. Like, I'm about to lose my father. I lost my son. Now that I know you, I'm not trying to lose out on you. And that makes Tommy reflect back to his relationship that he had with Ghost. And he's like, yeah, but I had a brother, because Tommy and Ghost, that's what they were. They were brothers. So it was a really nice little moment, another reflection for Tommy, because throughout the series, I'm feeling like we're going to constantly be seeing the things that Tommy was faced with coming up into his, forefront for him to see and to reflect on. The scene switches again, and we see Tommy sitting on the trunk of a car, and he opens up his phone and he sends a text message to Gloria, and he asks her, can he stop by the bar? And she's like, yeah, you can stop by the bar. I'm here. So as he's sitting on the car, we hear two voices in the trunk, and they're like, let us out. Rojas is going to be so pissed off when he finds out that you got us trapped in the back of the car. Boom, boom, boom. Let us out. Let us out. So Tommy gets up off the trunk of the car, and he got a bottle of some alcohol, and he runs it down the car and makes a stream, and then he goes and lights his cigarette, and he tosses the lighter, and he sets the car on fire. So he done killed the kidnappers, which is a peace treaty offering from him to the CBI brothers, because they took your brother and they hemmed them up, and I know you want to put your hands on them, so I'm gonna go ahead on and do you a solid. So after he set the car on fire, he walking through Chicago, and he walks up to CBI, and he knock on the window. We see Prison Babe Jannard and Elijah sitting in there. So they looking like that white boy back here again. So they getting up, and then Tommy hold up the scarf, which is one of the scarves that the kidnappers was wearing, and he letting them know I done completed the job. So Jannard looking like, damn, this nigga ruthless. And then they also looking like, man, what the fuck? So Prison Babe, though, his face stone cold, because he understand what time it is. Like, you out here making these types of moves, you gonna want something. So I'm gonna have to owe you something. And like, I see you. You been clocking us all this time because you trying to find a way to get in good with us, but at the same time, now I'm gonna have to pay you back. Like I owe you now. And so as Tommy is walking off, he says to himself, he like, you owe me one now. And Jannard just like, oh fuck. And it's just like a revelation moment. I mean, it's just like a moment for them right now where they're realizing like we're gonna be in too deep. In Drake's voice, once this shit is all said and done, because he don't went and knock these dudes for us. So that was really interesting to see. And then we see Vic sitting outside, and he's smoking a cigarette, and then they flip the screen, and we can see that Tommy and Gloria are in the bar, and they wrapping it up like they always do. They talking about how Gloria got into the bar game, and Tommy's letting her know, I know what an envelope looks like when you gotta pay somebody some loot. So did they open this bar for you, or did they loan you some money so you can keep your bar? Like, how you get in so deep? And she pretty much like, don't worry about all of that. I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. And Tommy, he offered. He was like, I'll pay your debt if that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? And she like, no, I don't need that. I got this. I'm gonna handle it. And so Tommy, he proceeds to grab her face and he kissed her, and they exchanging a little heated kiss session. And Vic sitting outside looking like, yeah, motherfucker, you got me fucked up. You really gotta die now, because now you messing with my broad. Like, we ain't doing none of that. And so the scene ends there, and Tommy is driving through Chicago again, and he pulls back up to the place that had the leasing sign on it, and he knocks on the door, and the old man comes out, and he like, what is you banging on my door for? And Tommy like, I want to buy your place. And he was like, and you ain't never seen me before. So he give him some loot. So the man was like, my memory worked pretty well. AKA, it's going to cost a little more than this to get me up out of here right now, and to get me to say I don't know who came and bought my location from me. So Tommy like, bet I see you, big brother. He gave him another little stack of money. And the man was like, let me go get my toothbrush. And Tommy was like, nigga, you get a new toothbrush when you go. Get your ass up out of here. And so the old man said less. Tommy walks into the spot, and as he's in the spot, he's surveying the area, and it's a really, really nice loft that he done got. So I'm like, this is real nice. It's low key. It don't look like anybody stayed there, because it just looks like an abandoned building. So I was like, this is nice. And as he's looking around, lo and behold, guess what they have on the wall? A map of Chicago. So he takes the map down. He's surveying the area. He looking at, the location where Shawty hopped out on the alley at. He putting two and two together, and that supposedly led him to the exact location where she's staying. How he knew, why he knew, when he knew, we don't know. But the scene switches, and we see Shawty watching television, and Shawty is Liliana, the girl who had the scar on her face. She watching TV, and as she's watching TV, she cutting her volume down because she hears somebody creeping around her building. And Tommy enters in, and he's going to, kill her. And then she ends up hitting him, first, knocks the gun out of his hand. They get the fighting and tussling. And Tommy grabs his gun again, and he's basically like, I want to kill you. And she's letting him know, like, look, when I came out here, I ain't know, you know what I'm saying, that you was coming this way. I was trying to get out of Dodge. I'm trying to live my own life. And just so happened we end up in the same location. And Tommy like, well, how you knew I was going to be in the alley? And she was like, because she was like, everybody keep talking about the fact that they got this white dude, you know what I'm saying, here. And I'm like, who else could it be? And as he's trying to kick her ass to death, he, you know what I'm saying, kicks his foot down into one of her footboards and the board breaks. And he finds that she's keeping a stash of drugs there. And then the drugs also have like this spider logo on it. And I feel like that's in connection to one of the connects that they had in the Power Book 1 series, but honestly, I don't remember, and I did not go and put two and two together. The scene closes with her looking like she is scared for her life, and he says it's always good running into old friends, and then that is where it is. And tonight's episode was really, really good. I told you guys some of my predictions that I had for the first episode. So going forward from the second episode, I pretty much still have the same thoughts and opinions. I think that Tommy is going to end up running with Prison Bae and his boys. I think that him and Prison Bae probably will become like the new Ghost and Tommy, where they both. I don't think that Prison Bae will have to report to Tommy anyway. I don't think that that's how Tommy operates. I think they will be doing their own thing, but at the same time, they'll have a legendary front, so they'll be a team. I would love to see that because I'm excited to see Prison Bae on the screen. I keep putting my offer out there. I'm gonna have to say it one more time. Prison Bae was am, but I'm just joking, y'all. But I'm excited to see where it's going. The episode was really, really good. Slower than the first episode, but good nevertheless. And that's really it. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching my YouTube video. I got a couple of good reviews on the last episode, so I'm looking forward to continuing to put out content for you guys. I will continue to do reviews on Power Book Force, and then when Kanan returns, I will do reviews on that. And if any new TV shows come out that I feel are worthy of reviewing, I will also put out reviews for those episodes too. You guys can catch my podcast. It is the B Party. I release new episodes on Tuesdays. It is myself as well as a good friend of mine by the name of Katie Speaks here on YouTube. We talk about all types of things from pop culture to relationships, friendships, etc. Every now and then I might come out and put an episode out where I'm just dropping some words of wisdom. So you can follow me on Instagram at the B Party. You also can find my link tree in the description, and that is where you guys can keep up with me on all of my platforms that I have, as well as leave a love donation if you would like to. But until next time, y'all be blessed.